Inside Canada 2025, the year 2025 is a landmark period for Canada, characterized by significant political shifts, evolving economic policies, and vibrant cultural events that collectively shape the nation as identity and its place on the world stage. Beginning with the political arena, Canada held a pivotal federal election on April 28, 2025, which resulted in a victory for the Liberal Party under the leadership of Prime Minister Mark Carney. This election was particularly notable because it was the first to use a new 343-seat electoral map, redrawn based on the 2021 census data, which better reflects population changes and demographic shifts across the country. The election solidified the Liberal government's mandate, positioning them to navigate a complex and often tense geopolitical climate. Amid these political developments, Canada welcomed a historic visit from King Charles III and Queen Camilla in late May. This marked the first official royal visit by King Charles as monarch, and it held great symbolic significance for Canada as a constitutional monarchy. During their visit, the King opened the 45th Canadian Parliament and delivered the speech from the throne, a formal address that laid out the government's priorities for the coming session. In this speech, King Charles reaffirmed Canada's sovereignty and commitment to democratic values at a time when international tensions, especially with the United States, were notably rising. This diplomatic backdrop was underscored by increasingly strained relations between Canada and the U.S., highlighted by former President Donald Trump's controversial decision to suspend ongoing trade negotiations. Trump demanded that Canada eliminate certain taxes he deemed unacceptable before talks could resume, signaling a period of uncertainty and friction in one of Canada's most critical bilateral relationships. Canada's role on the international stage was further emphasized by its hosting of the 51st G7 Summit in June, held in Kananaskis, Alberta. This summit brought together the leaders of the world's 7 largest advanced economies to discuss pressing global issues. The agenda was dominated by concerns about regional stability, particularly in relation to ongoing conflicts in Eastern Europe and the support for Ukraine in its resistance against aggression. There was also a focus on emerging threats such as hybrid warfare, a blend of conventional military aggression, cyber attacks, and disinformation campaigns, which poses unique challenges to global security. Notably, despite tensions, Donald Trump attended the summit, adding a complex dynamic to the discussions. Canada's leadership in convening the summit underlined its commitment to multilateral diplomacy and global cooperation, even as geopolitical challenges intensify. On the domestic front, Canada made significant strides in immigration and labor policy reform. Recognizing the ongoing labor shortages in critical sectors, the government expanded the Economic Mobility Pathways Pilot, a program designed to provide displaced individuals and skilled refugees with new routes to permanent residency. This expansion not only aims to support vulnerable populations, but also to bolster the Canadian workforce in key industries such as healthcare, technology, and agriculture. Alongside this, reforms to the temporary foreign worker program raised wage thresholds to ensure fairer compensation and reduce exploitation of migrant workers. These policy changes reflect Canada's balanced approach to maintaining economic growth while protecting worker rights and integrating newcomers effectively into society. Cultural and sporting events added vibrancy and international attention to Canada's calendar in 2025. Early in the year, Vancouver and Whistler hosted the Invictus Games in February, an inspiring international adaptive sports competition for wounded military veterans. The Games not only highlighted athletic excellence, but also promoted messages of resilience, inclusion, and community support. High-profile performances by artists such as Chris Martin and Katy Perry helped to elevate the event, profile and celebrate the courage of participants. Looking ahead to summer, St. John's, Newfoundland, and Labrador, prepared to welcome over 4,000 athletes from across the country for the 2025 Canada Summer Games, a multi-sport event featuring 17 different sports disciplines. This marked the third time the province hosted the Games, showcasing its capacity to support large-scale events and fostering regional pride. Meanwhile, Toronto was set to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Toronto International Film Festival in September, one of the world's premier film festivals. The milestone edition promised a lineup of compelling films, including the opening documentary, John Candy, I Like Me by Colin Hanks, a heartfelt tribute to one of Canada's beloved comedic actors. TIFF's influence on global cinema and Canadian cultural identity continues to grow, attracting filmmakers, critics, and cinephiles from around the world. In addition to traditional cultural highlights, Canada made a significant mark in the rapidly expanding esports industry by hosting the 2025 mid-season Invitational for League of Legends in Vancouver from late June to mid-July. This event marked Canada's first time hosting a major international esports tournament, signaling the country's growing engagement with digital entertainment and new forms of global competition. The MSI attracted top esports teams and tens of thousands of fans, positioning Canada as an emerging hub for gaming culture and technology-driven industries. Looking forward, Canada's agenda for 2025 reflects a nuanced balancing act, strengthening domestic policies related to immigration and labor, advancing cultural and sporting excellence, and navigating a complex international environment marked by diplomatic challenges and opportunities. The government's proactive stance on expanding pathways for skilled immigrants addresses demographic and economic needs, while cultural events foster unity and national pride. Meanwhile, Canada's leadership role in hosting the G7 summit and other international forums highlights its ongoing commitment to global cooperation and security. As Canada moves through 2025, it exemplifies resilience, innovation, and inclusivity, positioning itself as a progressive nation ready to face the multifaceted challenges of the modern world. And that's a wrap on Canada 2025, a year full of bold moves, epic events, and a future that's looking brighter than a maple leaf in the sun. Whether it's politics, culture, or esports, Canada is showing the world how to keep it cool, inclusive, and unstoppable. If you enjoyed the deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe for more fresh insights, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Got thoughts or questions about Canada's future? Drop them in the comments. I want to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious, stay awesome, and keep exploring this amazing world with me. Catch you later, eh?